I'm going to help you install your Fandelier. Don't panic. We can get through it together. Let's get started. Hi guys, welcome back. So you got a Fandelier. You opened the box and you thought, it's very nice. You know what, it's probably a little too nice for your house. Joking, joking. Anyway, you opened the box and you saw all that stuff, all those parts, and you thought to yourself, what in the world did I get myself into? Okay, so I took a ceiling fan down because this is where the Fandelier is going to go. So again, don't panic. If you're a beginner, you're going to think to yourself, okay, the mount goes here. I have to connect it to the junction box. But you're going to get a little worried because the mount might be wider than the junction box. Don't worry about that. I'll show you. Okay, folks, I recommend that you put the Fandelier together first. You got a lot going on, a lot of parts, a lot of wires. You might be working by yourself and you'll get frustrated. So to avoid that, do this first, along with the crystal balls that hang from the base. Put all that together first. It'll save you a lot of frustration and anguish. Trust me. Now here's the box for the remote control. It's the receiver. So you'll see the wire sticking out like this. So it should look something like this when you put it together. I don't have the balls hooked up to it yet, but that's okay. So anyway, the issue you're going to run into is the mount, okay? And I'll walk you through that shortly. But when you get the mount, you'll notice it might be bigger than a junction box. That's okay. Don't worry about that. Don't panic. I'll show you what to do. Take a look at your mount. There's an opening, right? So that pole, whether it's the long pole or the short one you use, it goes into this hole. You'll turn it and it'll fit into like a groove. But the most important thing is to secure the mount to the junction box. You want the wires coming from the ceiling to go through the center of the mount. Make sure the wires coming out of the ceiling or the junction box go straight down through the middle of the mount. Meanwhile, you're going to have an issue here because your mount may be wider than your junction box. I recommend you center your mount, then you secure it with at least one screw. You notice the junction box isn't as wide as the mount. That's okay. But as long as I secure it with one screw, it will hold, believe it or not. But if you try to secure it to the drywall, it won't work. Notice what I did. Now I'll come with additional screws and screw them into the drywall. The mount isn't going anywhere. It's secured to the junction box. It doesn't matter at this point. Now you're pretty much ready to go. You've assembled it already. And actually, this thing comes pretty much assembled. You're just adding the pole, the caps, and wiring this thing, honestly. So you don't have much to do. Now, the base, you have to add the magnetic lights, and there's other little parts, but that's not an issue. This is how this should look, though, and this is how it'll hang. It's not difficult. If you can walk and chew gum at the same time, this will be fine for you. Don't panic. You won't have too much to worry about. But this is the groove I was telling you about. This goes into the mount. You'll turn it until it fits into it completely. I'm on a ladder now. I'm just showing you what it should look like. It's not difficult. Don't forget now that receiver has to somehow fit into the mount too. That's why you want to put all this stuff together. Okay? And this is the cap. You'll see. We did cut the power, right, before we start wiring the stuff, correct? We don't do this without cutting the power. We went down to the basement or wherever that fuse box is, and we cut the power, right? Right? That's the most important thing. Forget this Fandelier. Your life is more important. We know the black wire is hot, white is neutral, and up above here is a hot wire and a neutral wire. Sometimes the colors are different. We can figure it out. I think this white one will go with the tan one, and the black one should be connected to the yellow. It's not a big deal. We didn't talk about the green wire that's coming out of the Fandelier. That's your ground. Don't worry about it. And the green wire that sometimes gets forgotten about that we don't see right now, you can put it in the decorative cap. It'll be okay. When you connect the wires, finish them off by using wire nuts, wire caps, whatever you want to call them. I hate the small ones. I really do. It's easier to use the big ones. They're easier to work with. Those small ones just takes too long. So I did all that and we forgot the receiver for the remote. So let's take this stuff apart and do it again, right? So I did that to show you it's better to put the receiver through the mount, then wire this thing. It'll be a lot easier. The flat part goes toward the ceiling, the curved part toward the Fandelier. All right, we're getting it together. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll be back.